Hello there. My name is Mary Kamau from Kenya School of Tibet and also a social work trainer. And today I'll take you through essential skills that a social worker needs while conducting psychosocial support counseling. And you'll start by understanding what is psychosocial counseling. So, this is where, as a social worker, you're helping individuals cope with emotional, mental, and social challenges. Usually, it's a collaborative process between you and the client where you start by building trust, understanding the client and the issues that the client has brought forth, and working towards positive change. So let's look at the key skills that will guide you as a social worker while conducting psychosocial support counseling. And the first one is active listening. Active listening is where you fully engage with the client, and fully engaging means you're listening to the client to understand his or her emotions, to understand the issues that the client has brought forth, and include several things like checking the verbal cues of the client. So you're listening to understand, not just listening to hear. So look at the facial expressions. What is the client showing with what they are saying? Then you also, as a social worker or a counselor, you're supposed to use also verbal cues to show that you're listening, like nodding, making eye contact with the client. It's very, very important. It helps the client feel understood, and it shows empathy from your end as a social worker. The second aspect of active listening is attentive. You need to pay attention to verbal and nonverbal cues from the client without interrupting them. So give them time, but listen to them and understand their perspective. Then active listening also involves summarizing and clarifying points. So a client says, I'm not feeling well, or this made me feel sad. You can clarify that and summarize what the client has said. For instance, you can say, I understand that losing your job made you feel sad. So you're clarifying what the client has said, and you're also summarizing the issues that the client has brought. This makes you understand the client's perspective. That's very, very important. The second aspect that we look at is empathy. Empathy is a skill that is very, very important for us as social workers. It helps us to put ourselves in the client's shoes and understand their perspective, but it also allows you to validate and show respect to the client's feelings. So it's very, very important to show empathy. Empathy is also critical in regulations of emotions, your own emotions. You need to know how to manage them. If a client comes, he or she is crying after losing a job or losing their livelihood, you're not supposed to cry in the process. You need to know how to manage your emotions so that you avoid projecting your own feelings to the client. Understand the client's feelings and manage your own emotions as a social worker. The next skill that is very critical for social workers in psychosocial support is problem solving. So problem solving involves being able to identify the client's problem. So as I said, if you're actively listening, if you have empathy, you'll be able to understand the client's problem. Then you'll be able to clarify it or clearly define the issue and how it has impacted the client's life. From there, you're able to explore solutions. So you explore solutions, as I said from the beginning, in collaboration with the client. So brainstorm various solutions that you can uh, address the problem with. Then develop a plan. So in problem solving, once you do the brainstorming, you're able to come up with a plan that will address the challenges or the issues brought about by the client. Another skill that is very key is communication skills. So as a social worker, are you able to express your ideas clearly and effectively? So here you're supposed to use simple and clear language. Don't use jargons on client. Be concise. Use simple language that both you and the client understands, and be very, very precise on what you're talking about. Then emphasize and clarify. We've talked about this back there. So ensure you summarize and clarify what the client is talking about, and be able to give constructive feedback. So feedback is very, very important for clients. It encourages them, it helps them know the level and the state of the support that they expect to receive from you or from your organization, or the stages that you're taking, even if it's referral. So it's very, very important to give feedback to your client. Then the next skill is adaptability, which involves tailoring approach to individual needs. So remember, these clients that come to you, they are individuals and they have individual issues. So you should be able to tailor your approach to their individual needs. And this will be possible if you first do assessment. So get to know the client's background, their experience, their goals. Once you do that, come up with a plan that is individualized. Individualized means it's for that client only. It caters for the needs of that client. Even if they come as a family, each family member has individual needs. So focus on each person, develop an individualized plan for each individual. Then remember to uphold professional standards and ethical practice as a social worker. So, as you're doing active listening, as you're doing empathy, as you're communicating, remember the ethical standards that guide our work as social workers. The first one is confidentiality. Respect the privacy of that client. Maintain strict confidentiality of their information. Don't go sharing information about a client with just anyone. And in confidentiality, where we say that you may need to break confidentiality, is only in cases of harm. If a client may cause harm to himself or others, then you can break confidentiality and report that case. But beyond that, all the matters should be kept confidential. Then integrity is key. As a social worker, you need to be honest, be transparent with your clients. Don't lie, don't give false hopes. Be straightforward and give the right information. Then you also need to maintain professional boundaries and avoid dual relationship with clients. So what is dual relationship? This is where probably you knew a client before as your relative or your cousin or your classmate, and now the client has come to you for psychosocial support. It's always prudent to refer that case to another social worker who has no other relationship with this individual. So dual relationship is you have a professional relationship and you have a personal relationship with this person. So you need to avoid that and maintain professional boundaries. Then we have competence. As a social worker, you need to stay updated with the current happenings. Uh, do research, know what is happening in the field so that you also upgrade your work and do better as a professional. The next area we look at is self care. So, as a social worker, you need to take care of yourself, maintain your personal well being for you to be able to help the client. So, stress management, learn how to manage stress, avoid burnout. I know social workers, we are tempted to go overboard in our work, helping and helping. We forget ourselves. So avoid burnout, very important. Do self reflection. Reflect on your own work. your emotional well-being. See how you're doing. Are you okay today? Are you able to handle this? So it's very important to do self reflection, and as I said, maintain healthy professional boundaries with everyone, the client, your colleagues, and everyone around you. Maintain professional boundaries. And with that, I come to the end of our presentation today. I hope we have learned a lot, and my prayer is that you are going to implement all that we have learned. Thank you and have a good day.